What do you believe would have happened to you had you not used your knife?
I would have died. I believe I would have been killed that day.
So you felt like you could stab folks who are not attacking you at the moment that you stabbed them?
Objection. I do not.
That was defendant Nicolae Miu, charged with stabbing 5 people in July of 2022. I'm Heather Hansen, walking you through the top 12 moments of Miu's testimony in this fascinating self-defense case out of St. Croix County, Wisconsin. The story begins in July 2022 on Wisconsin's Apple River when Miu approached a group of teenage tubers.
Did you hear them say some things to you?
Yes.
Prior to your walking upriver and them, did you hear those words that I have written on that slide?
Yes.
Prior to your hearing those words when you were walking upriver, had you had verbal contact with that group?
I think so. They asked me what I was looking for, and I told them I'm looking for a phone, a lost phone.
Did you ever tell them that you were looking for little girls?
No.
Were you looking for little girls?
Absolutely not. It's pathetic.
After the teen group started accusing him of lewd behavior, Miu says the confrontation escalated.
What does this show you doing here?
I'm walking away from the group. Still,
Wow. Go ahead.
still looking for my goggles at that time.
When you were doing that, did you ever hear the kids say anything?
They gave me a warning.
What'd they say?
You got 10 seconds.
A second group of tubers, called the Carlson Group, approached the confrontation between Miu and the teenagers. That's when things started becoming physical.
Do you remember what Madison did, if anything, to you?
Yeah.
What did she do?
She grabbed my right arm and she pulled me towards her, and I lost my balance, so I moved towards her.
Did you consider that in that circumstance to be a gentle or a gracious touch?
No, that was not a gracious touch. No, not at all.
Had she been using any gentle or gracious words with you?
Not that, no, not that I remember.
In those photos, can we see the footwear that you were wearing on that day?
Yep, those sandals that we saw earlier.
Did you have confidence in your footing in that area with those sandals?
Objection, reading.
Sustained.
How did you feel about your footing in that area?
Very unstable.
I want to show you the next set of slides here. Do you remember what you say to Madison after she pulled on your right arm?
Yeah, I told her not to touch me
And why did you tell her that?
because she pulled on me without my invitation.
Eventually, Miu says he waved his own tubing group over to help him, and Madison Cohen did the same. Miu told his defense team at that moment, his threat meter went from uncomfortable to alarming, and he pushed back.
What do you remember about that?
I remember the young boys were yelling, pointing at me, saying things that are not true.
Were you able to see, like in this next slide, this 2429, 2440, 2401, were you able to see as you stood there what everybody was doing, and were you able to scan and see that?
For a brief second, yes.
Okay.
They were very close. They were really close to me. I could see and hear them.
How about your fear scale there? Where is it? Where is it?
About 2 or 3.
Okay. I see in the one on the right there, you have your hand someplace. Can you tell me what you're doing with your right hand?
Yes, I'm reaching for my pocket knife.
Why?
Because at one point my fear was getting really high, and
Okay.
I was getting ready to pull it out.
Okay. Were you uncomfortable, or was there a wall behind you, or was there some other reason? Why did you feel like you couldn't back up?
I didn't feel safe turning my back on those people.
Okay. How about just taking a step backwards?
Well, I was standing my ground. I didn't move towards anybody.
Okay.
They're coming at me.
When you raised your left hand and you did that, do you recall when you pushed her away having contact with her?
I may have, yes.
Okay. Do you remember in particular where, if at all, you touched her?
No.
Okay. Would it surprise you if you touched her?
No.
Was that, in fact, your purpose in pushing her away?
Absolutely.
Okay.
She was in my space.
After pushing Madison Cohen, the defendant claims the tubers practically ambushed him.
Do you remember how you felt when you fell back into the water?
I was, number one, I was stunned. That's why I fell backwards. I was very afraid, of course.
On this fear scale that you've talked about before, where are you on that scale from 0 to 10?
Right at the top, 10.
Have you ever been at that 10 before in your life?
Never been in a situation like this or a fight in my life.
Have you ever been at a 10?
Never.
When you did that, as we see on the right, what happened to your head?
Oh, well, I fell in the water. Obviously, that's a river, and I hit my head on river rock, and my whole body went under. Well,
Okay.
my head went underwater.
When you say your head went under, is that what it felt like?
Yes.
How many times at that point, is your memory of watching the video and your memory of experiencing this, have you been hit in the head now, but either by people or by the ground or by the water?
4 times at least.
Okay. At this point in time, where's your fear scale?
A 10.
When this happened to you, did you immediately get up, or did you fall back in the water, or did something else happen?
I tried getting up, but I couldn't.
Did you, at some point, did you feel something on your backside?
There was somebody pushing me down.
And when you felt that on your backside, did you feel anything else anywhere else?
I got hit in the face, in the front of my head.
Miu told the jury he had no other choice but to use deadly force.
When you're getting hit in the head here again, where are you at on the fear scale at that point?
10.
Have you been able to get up out of the water?
No.
How many people do you know? How many people are attacking you?
At the time, I didn't know, but I knew there were more than I could handle.
Why'd you use your knife?
I feared for my life.
Did you think you could get out of there without using your knife?
I couldn't even get up. They're pushing me down. No, so the answer is no.
In that time when you're down on the ground, did you think there was a way for you to escape?
No.
Did you feel like you could just crawl away or run away or walk away or do anything else to escape?
Not in that position.
The next day after this, July 31st, were you in the, did you feel, how did your body feel the next day?
I hurt everywhere. My head hurt, my throat hurt, obviously my back hurt. I hurt everywhere.
What did you think was going to happen to you in that moment?
The whole time I felt like I was going to die, so basically I feared for my life.
And in response to that, here's slide 3000, did you do something in response to that?
I reached out and stabbed him.
Were you trying to kill somebody?
Absolutely not.
What were you trying to do?
I was just trying to defend myself.
It's clear that Miu, through the questioning of his defense team, tried to paint a picture of a man who defended his life when he fatally stabbed 17-year-old Isaac Schumann and seriously injured 4 others: Riley Madison, Dante Carlson, Tony Carlson, and A.J. Martin. On cross-examination, the prosecution challenged each and every interaction throughout the incident, starting with Madison Cohen.
So at that point, you're touching your knife before Maddie and Riley are standing in front of you, right?
Appears that way.
You had said that your fear level was rising.
Mm-hmm.
You had waved to your friends, right? That was the look on your face at the time, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You're smiling.
I'm confused.
You're smiling.
I'm confused.
You're not smiling?
That's not a smile.
Well, yes,
The prosecutor then moved on to the stabbing of A.J. Martin, seen pushing Miu down into the water. Martin was actually disemboweled from a deep cut to his torso during the fight.
Pushed in the back by A.J. Madison, right?
Objection, no foundation.
overruled.
In response, you got up out of the water, right? You take your knife in your right hand with the blade up, right?
Objection is in narration.
Overruled.
That's what you did, right?
Still in my hand, yes, that way.
You jabbed it into his belly.
About the same time he hit me in the throat.
That's not what I'm asking.
Yes.
You jabbed it into his belly, right?
Yes,
Instead of pulling it out, you pulled up, right?
because I had so much time to think about it.
You pulled up.
I did not pull up. Look at the angle of my arm.
The prosecutor then brought up the stabbings of Tony Carlson and Riley Madison. Carlson, seen with his hands on Miu's back, suffered stab wounds to the torso, while Riley Madison, seen just after she got stabbed, needed life-saving surgery after suffering a punctured lung, an injured diaphragm, and an injured stomach.
That's at the point that Tony Carlson came over, was yelling at people to back up. Do you remember that?
From the video.
You don't have a memory of that in your head? He separated Dante from you, right?
Objection.
If it's from my memory, I don't remember that.
Tony Carlson never punched you, correct?
Correct.
He never kicked you, never pushed you.
Objection. Mischaracterized the evidence.
Overruled.
No.
And you turned around and you stabbed him twice, right?
I couldn't see, I couldn't hear. I didn't know who was punching me, touching me, shoving me, nothing. I was fearing for my life.
After you stabbed Tony Carlson, you turned around, you got up, you turned around, and you sliced Riley Madison through her left side of her body, right?
Yes.
She wasn't punching you or kicking you.
She came at me and she had her hands on me.
At the time you stabbed her, she had her hands on you.
Yes.
This 115-pound woman attacked you while you're standing there holding a knife.
She could have been 500 pounds. I don't know. I'm sorry, sir, but
You've never told anyone ever that Riley Madison attacked you and that's why you stabbed her, right?
no.
You're saying it today for the first time.
I don't remember this whole thing.
The prosecution also brought up the stabbing of Tony Carlson's brother, Dante, who suffered stab wounds to his torso and chest area. He threw the first punch at the defendant after the tubers accused Miu of punching Madison Cohen.
I asked you earlier about when you stabbed Dante Carlson. You agreed that he was not attacking you at the point that you stabbed him. He was the last person stabbed, right?
He attacked me.
Earlier, when you stabbed him, Tony Carlson had already broke up the fight, right? You said you agreed to that earlier.
At that time, everybody that came in contact with me attacked me.
Anybody who looked at you?
No, anybody that came in contact with me, I felt attacked.
You felt attacked whether you were being physically attacked or not, right?
I was in the moment, so I felt attacked by anybody that had either previously attacked me or was approaching to attack me.
So you felt like you could stab folks who were not attacking you at the moment that you stabbed them.
Objection.
Sustained.
Most importantly, the prosecutor touched on the fatal stabbing of Isaac Schumann, who was allegedly seen choking the defendant on video. According to the medical examiner, he died from a stab wound to the left chest that was 4.3 inches deep.
And as he's pushing you, you jam your knife up into his heart, through his ribcage, right?
After he touches my throat and pushes me back, yes, correct.
As your arm is moving up to stab him, you actually moved his arm farther up your body with your own movement, right?
I don't know how to answer that. I didn't see that.
I think what you said earlier is that you were afraid you were going to die from being strangled, and that's why you stabbed Isaac Schumann in the heart, right? That was your testimony earlier? Didn't you say that today, this afternoon here in court?
Yes?
It's not an important detail that you thought you might want to point out?
Objection argument.
Overruled.
Everything is, every detail is important. We all know that. But I don't remember saying any of those things to Lieutenant Hart.
Because you didn't say them, right? That's why you don't remember.
Is what?
You didn't say those things to her. That's why you don't remember, correct?
I don't remember what I said or what I didn't say to her. I don't remember even having an interview with her.
So you can't remember anything about what you told her, but when Mr. Nelson's asking you questions, you can remember all these feelings you had at the time. Is that true?
Overruled.
Last but not least, Miu told his defense team his entire body hurt after the altercation. And the state asked Miu about his injuries following his alleged assault from the group.
You never suffered any kind of bruising or cuts to your face from this incident, right?
On the inside of my cheek?
You cut the inside of your cheek.
Yes.
Yeah, you never had any bruising on your jaw, right?
I don't remember. I mean, I had a beard, I couldn't tell.
You weren't bleeding from your face anywhere.
No, not that I know.
Defendant Nicolae Miu faces life in prison on homicide, attempted homicide, and battery charges. So stick with us here at Law&Crime as we bring you gavel-to-gavel coverage on this fascinating self-defense case out of Wisconsin.